Hi everyone, my name is Dee Roussel, also known as Deja, and today I'm going to do an If You Like This, You Should Try This, a Black Author edition. For Black History Month, I really wanted to highlight some Black books that give me the same vibes as some of these very popular books, and I'm not really seeing the same hype as those popular books for these Black authors. So I did want to shine a light on these books that I'm going to talk about today. Before I start, I did want to have a little bit of a disclaimer because some of these books I did not enjoy at all. I didn't even finish them, but I recognize that they have an audience. Obviously some of these books are popular for a reason. They have their intended audience, but the goal of this is really just to shed some light on some Black authors that wrote books that are very similar or give me the same vibes as those popular books, and I really want to give them their shine as well. So without further ado, let me get into the 6 books that I want to talk about today. The first one that I have is Heartstopper, and the one that I would compare this one to by a Black author is Bingo Love. I put this on my best books of 2023 because I really did enjoy it. And I think that those that really liked Heartstopper will definitely enjoy Bingo Love as well. While there are definitely some key differences, one mainly being that there are different kinds of relationships. So one is a male-male relationship and the other one is a sapphic relationship. And there's also an age difference. Heartstopper follows 2 teenage guys and Bingo Love follows 2 older women. So besides those differences, I feel like they're very similar stories. And when I say similar, I don't mean to the exact T. I think that the vibes are pretty much the same. In both stories, you're dealing with 2 people that want to be together but cannot for whatever reason. And in Heartstopper, you're following these 2 guys that are in high school, and one of them is closeted, doesn't really recognize that what he's feeling is romantic towards another guy, and so he's just kind of playing that. And then you have in Bingo Love, you have 2 women who realize that they're starting to be attracted to each other and stuff, and they're still closeted just because of the time period that they're in, and it's not very accepted. And then you're just following them as they finally get together and all of this other stuff. I'm pretty sure Heartstopper does the same in the later volumes. They're both graphic novels. Bingo Love only has 1, while Heartstopper has however many it has. I only read the first volume of Heartstopper, but they still give me the same vibes. I think Heartstopper has a little bit more angst than Bingo Love, but I think that if you really just want to read a queer love story that is just very heartwarming and just cute, I feel like Bingo Love is definitely one that I would recommend. The next one that I have is if you liked The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, you should try Skin of the Sea. Now, both of these are pretty popular in their own right, but I did want to highlight this one just because I feel like they really do give me very similar vibes. They are both following mythology. I think The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea is following Chinese mythology, and then Skin of the Sea follows Nigerian mythology. Both of them have very strong protagonists, and by strong I mean headstrong protagonists, really taking the initiative to do what they feel is right. I think The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, I think she's saving her brother or the other girl who was supposed to be drowned in the sea to go to this Chinese god. And then in Skin of the Sea, the girl is a mermaid and she doesn't really want to do what she has been charged to do. I'm trying to keep it very vague because I don't really want to do any spoilers, but while they're both following very different kind of storylines, I feel like if you want an adventurous tale, the both of them really give you that. They both have kind of a side romance. I'm never a big fan of YA romance in fantasy books, so take that as you will, but I really do think that if you want an adventurous tale filled with mythology and just strong characters, you should try Skin of the Sea by Natasha Bowen if you like The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea. The next one that I have is A Man Called Ovi. If you like that one, you will enjoy All the Lonely People. Honestly, this is very, very similar to each other. They're both following 2 men who are elderly, and they just kind of reflect back on their life. They're just kind of miserable older men, but they both start to have a community around them that makes it worth living to them, and that's pretty much the story. And honestly, I could not even think of a better comparison for these books. A Man Called Ovi got a whole adaptation and stuff, but I don't hear many people talking about All the Lonely People. And while I didn't love both of these, I really do think that those who really did enjoy A Man Called Ovi will enjoy the similar themes and stuff that are in All the Lonely People. All the Lonely People does have an additional like part to it and additional themes. It deals with like racism and interracial relationship between a Black guy and a white woman, so there's definitely like racism in that, and also just like workplace racism and just all this other stuff. So while they're both very similar, All the Lonely People has the additional aspects of it of being I think he's Caribbean, like a Caribbean Black guy in London, I want to say. But if you liked A Man Called Ovi, you will definitely like All the Lonely People. The next one that I have is, if you like the Percy Jackson, The Lightning Thief, you will enjoy the Gatekeeper staff. And this is the TJ Young and the Arisha series. This is one that I wouldn't say is very tit for tat for like what the story is. The only thing that really like compares these two is that it follows like a middle school guy that is dealing with mythology. Percy Jackson, of course, deals with Greek mythology, and the TJ Young and the Arisha series deals with Nigerian mythology. So if you liked Percy Jackson for the mythology world of it and just following like the teenage guy with like his group of friends, I would definitely say try TJ Young and the Orishas. It definitely has that camaraderie of a middle school group, and it also has the rich mythology that I feel like Percy Jackson also has. So definitely try that one as well. The next ones that I have are books that I didn't enjoy at all. Like I absolutely hated these books, and I didn't have both of them actually. So, but I recognize that they have an audience, and so I'm going to say that if you liked From Blood and Ash, you should try The Vampire King. I don't even know what to say. I absolutely hated both of these books, but I think that the reason I would compare these is the writing is very similar. If I had to rank them, I would say Kenya Wright writes a lot better than Jennifer L. Armentrout. But I think the main reason why I would put both of these together is that I feel like they both have very intriguing worlds. In The Vampire King, you're following this Black woman who is kind of I don't know, not a mistress, but she's basically around the kingdom to have babies for the Vampire King. And she has a specific kind of blood that makes it possible for this to be done. And so she ends up wanting to run back to her family because she ended up leaving just to help the town and all of that. So she runs away, gets escorted by this kind of like bodyguard person who's also a vampire, and the journey goes on from there. And I would compare this because from what I read of From Blood and Ash, like I'm pretty sure it's also a bodyguard vampire romance with an intriguing world. So yeah, that's the extent of why I would recommend both of them. So I think that if you just want an intriguing world with like a bodyguard romance and vampires, definitely try out The Vampire King. This last one that I have could be a very hit or miss. Like I feel like it will really depend on what the reader wants from the story. So if you liked Sing Me to Sleep, I would say try He Calls Himself Veles by Tierra. Both of these books, I would say, give me the atmospheric vibes that the other one gives. Sing Me to Sleep deals with sleep paralysis, and so that's definitely a trigger warning, but that one deals with a sleep paralysis and also a demon. He Calls Himself Veles also deals with demons, but not a sleep paralysis demon. If anything, I think they rarely sleep in this book. Like I've never actually seen them sleep. I think maybe once, like the main character did, but whatever. So He Calls Himself Veles really deals with like the Christian mythology of angels and demons, while Sing Me to Sleep really just deals with the demons. The reason why I would really compare these is because I feel like the main characters are very similar. I would say Sing Me to Sleep, the character is way better like fleshed out, and I feel like they were a very strong character, whereas Tierra, like I feel like her character, I don't even remember the girl's name, but she wasn't as strong to me. But both of them are really dealing with stuff in their past and stuff that like happened to them, and the demons are like helping them deal with that. I would say that Armentrout's like craft of storytelling was stronger just because I feel like the ending was actually good, whereas Tierra Cox's ending wasn't that great. But I think the journey up until the point for the end of He Calls Himself Veles, I think it was still like a very good like atmospheric read, and I just kept feeling like I was immersed in the story. And so yeah, I would definitely say try He Calls Himself Veles if you like Sing Me to Sleep. Definitely gives me the same vibes, but just know you're probably not gonna love it as much as Sing Me to Sleep, but it definitely so like gives me the vibes. And so that brings me to the end of this video. I only had 6 this time. I've had like a few that I think they could match, but I haven't read from either the popular ones or the ones that I would think would match from the Black author side. And so I'm just going to leave it at this. I hope that you have liked this video. If you have any books that you think could compare to any of the ones that I mentioned, or even any of the ones that I didn't mention, be sure to tell me in the comments. But if you don't have anything else to add, you could also just leave a book stack emoji, just because I talked about many books in this video. But that will wrap up this video. I thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!